at 6:30 p.m. Board members, I call your name, please reply present. Treasurer Luna,
Present.
Trustee King,
Present.
Trustee Rutherford,
Here.
Vice President Platt, absent. Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre,
Present.
Secretary Perkins,
Present.
and myself present. 6 present, 1 absent. Mr. Platt. The board will not hear comments from the public. We ask that you state the reason for addressing the board and that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes on the matter within authority of the board and not address individuals by name. The presiding officer of the board shall have the right to limit the number of persons who may address the board on the same subject. Please state your name and address before beginning to speak. If there's anyone from the public who wishes to speak. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please state your name and address. This goes to me. We can't hear you with him as well.
Is this better? Yeah. Hello, my name is Malachi Bird. I'm a student for Grand Blanc, and I would like to talk about my student waiver and the fact that I've seen countless violence at Southwestern, and the fact I don't want to be there. And if my waiver is not accepted, I will have to go back to Texas with my mother, and because I'm at that age where I can decide if I can come with my father and my mother or not. But I really want to stay, continue my academic and athletic career at Grand Blanc High School. And I really hope you all let me accept my waiver so I can go back to the school. Thank you.
Oh, I don't need it. My name is Clinton Bird, and I am coming here in regards to why my son was denied a waiver. Bullet point 1 states that I need to be employed in the school district in which the child wants to attend. I am disabled. That is discrimination against the disabled. Bullet point 2, a parent shall provide proof that he or she is purchasing a home or leasing in the school district required for the child to attend. That violates the very purpose of the Schools of Choice program, which allows kids from low-performing areas to go to better schools. This is the second year that this has happened to me. I am trying to wonder, my son came from San Antonio, Texas, with no academic records or nothing attached to Flint schools. Now, my son will be going back to Texas, which is be giving up on his athletic career, and this is not right what's going on. This is the second year I've had to deal with this, and I'm trying to figure out why. And like I said, last year, me and Mr. Stewart literally almost got into a confrontation, and I played the video to certain members of the board as well as Superintendent Jones, and he was forced to give me an apology behind the issue. So there is clear retaliation on his end as to why he continued to deny my son based on the same reasons. And I explained this last year. And this time there's a lot of eyes watching, and I mean a lot of eyes. I've emailed the Department of Justice. My son is a military dependent. I emailed the Department of Education. I've emailed several people, so we need to figure out why this is continuing to happen to parents. All I'm trying to do is get the best for my son, and no disrespect to Flint, it's not from Flint schools, like he said. There's been several incidents. He has friends and cousins that go there, and they tell nothing but basically horror stories about their time there. I do not want to put my son through that. So what I'm doing now is I'm asking for the board to vote to grant my son a release for the 24-25, 25-26, and 26-27 school years so we don't have to go through this every year. Thank you much.
Thank you very much. If there's anyone else who'd like to speak from the public.
Madam Chair, what was the gentleman's name? The student?
Sir, could you repeat your name, please?
Clinton Bird.
Your son name?
Malachi Bird, current freshman at Grand Blanc High School.
You say Burns?
For 10th grade.
You say Burns as in B-U?
B-Y-R-D.
Oh, Bird, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Are they here?
No, we're not doing any of that. We're going straight to HR. We're going straight to HR.
I now turn the floor over to Trustee King for the human resource portion of the agenda.
Alrighty. I would like to call the Human Resources Committee of the whole meeting to order. I will now call upon Superintendent Jones to present action to the board.
Greetings, Board of Education. I seek a motion and a second from the board to move Resolution 1.7, personnel recommendations to the regular board meeting on May 15th, 2024 for adoption.
Is there a motion? Secretary Perkins?
I make a motion that action item 1.7, personnel recommendations, be moved to the regular board meeting.
Support.
All right, it's been moved by Secretary Perkins, supported by Treasurer Luna, is to move 1.7 to the regular board meeting. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Chair, you were going so
Trustee
fast.
Rellis.
Who is this assistant principal? Why are we just now getting this to review it? We didn't have a HR subcommittee meeting to read over this?
Director Montgomery?
I apologize. It was supposed to be included in the original packet that you guys received, but the administrative assistant for HR is still new. So I just discovered it and brought the information because I figured you guys would have questions tonight. And then also one more thing, on page 4 of your packet, it says, when it talks about recommendations for employment, it says Southwestern. That really should be Holmes.
For administrator.
Yeah,
Yes.
The assistant principal is
Oh.
for Holmes,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you very much for that
Thank you.
correction.
not Southwestern.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on this, the blue packet too, it should say that. It should say Holmes, but it says Southwestern.
Okay, I really need some help
Okay,
with
thank
this.
you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, you
Well, I
got the floor.
guess to you, to Ms. Montgomery, do we have assistant principal at the high school? Yes or no?
No.
Why would we need one in middle school and not in high school?
There's still discussion for that position. It has to be posted.
You see my issue here? It would seem like you would have assistant principal in high school. But why it look like we're going backwards?
There's union work being done, and the reason why the high school principal the assistant principal is not filled. And
What's the reason?
it's not something that I'm gonna talk about over the floor.
Well, can you write me a note? Because that's not making sense to me.
Okay. I will.
This just stinks to me. Our kids deserve so much better.
All right.
And I just do things. Okay, help me. How many students do we have at Holmes?
I don't know how many students we have.
You know how
now.
many we got in high school?
No, I don't have that information in front of me.
No further questions.
Are there any questions, other discussion from my colleagues? Seeing none. So we all are clear that this position is for Holmes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Seeing no further discussion, roll call. Treasurer Luna,
Yes.
Trustee Rutherford.
No,
Vice President Clark.
I abstain, I was not here. I don't know
One
if you got it in mind.
abstention. All right, President McNeil,
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre,
Yes.
Secretary Perkins.
Yes.
Myself, Trustee King, yes. The motion passes by a vote of 5 yes, 1 no, 1 abstention for item 1.7 to be moved to the regular board meeting. All righty.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All righty. Is this your part?
Do you have any more on that, Mr. Jones?
2.3, item 2.3.
Where's 2.3?
This
A
is
retirement
information.
resignation.
In your packet is the information, item 2.3, retirement resignations, other. Does any board members have any questions?
Trustee Rutherford?
This resignation, didn't we just approve that less than a couple months ago?
Which resignation, Trustee Rutherford?
There's only one.
There's, oh, I'm sorry, retirement's resignation, sorry.
Isn't that person we just agreed,
State and federal program?
yes.
That's correct.
Is that true?
We approved that person.
Did she just get this position? Dixon, did she just get this position?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions from my colleagues? Trustee McIntyre?
Through you to the superintendent, since this was the grants administrator, what are we gonna do for a stopgap measure, and how are we gonna
Good question.
fill that?
Stopgap.
We're currently working with our MSU partners for a stopgap. We do have a plan for the rest of the school year. In the meantime, we're going to be working to post the position for the future. So we do have a stopgap. And we've already met with Kevin Walters, who's works with MDE, who's the approver of our grants. And he has written some documentation that I will share with the board of Flint has been utilizing the grant funds this year more than they have in the last 10 years. And he has nothing but great things to say about our business office and our grants department and the work we've done so far. So I'll be sharing that with you in the next couple of days.
Okay.
But the stopgap is going to be a partnership between our MSU team and our business office.
Okay. And to continue, yeah, and not that these questions are questioning, it's
No
more to, you know, put it out in the air, because we know how important our grants are, our title money is to the district. And so I just want to help ensure that your staff has everything that they need and that they're able to be successful. The organization I work with, like, dropped the ball with their grants coordinator, and it is rough. It is really rough. So whatever you need, whatever we can do as a board to assist to make sure that we can fill this position and keep up to date on the impending deadlines, searching for, you know, whatever it is that, I mean, I can't even pretend to know what goes into this job, because
Absolutely.
it's a tremendous job.
MDE, ISD have been working with us since our employee decided to resign. And we've come together with Dr. Beverly from MSU, and it looks like we're going to have a plan A and plan B
Okay.
for this
Very good.
position. So thank you. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Any other questions from my colleagues? Treasurer Luna?
Quick comment. Couldn't help but notice the wealth of experience from the retirements. But, you know, I'm confident that your team will, you know, recruit. Hopefully we can get some old ones back to come back and teach for our students. So looking forward to hearing more about that.
Any other questions from my colleagues? All right, thank you, Mr. Jones. Seeing no further business, I declare the HR Committee of the whole meeting adjourned at 6:44. Turn the floor back over to President McNeil.
Thank you, Trustee King. Mr. Jones.
I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve item 5.1, second reading of listed policies for approval and adoption at the regular board meeting on May 15, 2024.
So moved.
Support.
It has been properly moved and second. Is there any discussions?
Just one quick comment.
Yes.
I'm guessing at the next governance meeting, where we go back to policy, I just want to hear more about the guidelines you're working for your administrative team and how that's going.
Sure, the administrative guidelines. We had our first meeting last week. We started with finance. Our next meeting is going to be with finance to finish up the work with finance. We're going to move to HR after finance. Then we're going to move to academics after HR.
Great to hear.
So that's the process so far in our administrative guidelines.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
when was the first reading? Was that in the first, it says approval of second reading. When
When
was the
we
first
had
one?
the workshop, it's your first reading. Yeah.
First read.
The other day? Okay. So how many we have to do?
We had to prove it.
No, how many do we have? How many readings?
Two.
Two. So this is considered a second reading?
This one coming up.
Okay.
This is your second reading that we're approving that we have been working on.
Okay, so for clarification purposes, our first reading was in Neola when we went through it. When was the second?
Today's the second.
Today's your second you're approving. That's what we call your second reading. It come before the public and you approve it, and that's what they call the second reading. So we're approving what we already discussed in our workshop.
I understand, but I just want to make sure we're following the rules by doing it correctly. So I just wanted to ask the question. Thank you.
So just so the public is aware, that the second reading for our change or for our policies, the reading is supposed to happen with the board packet that you're supposed to read and go over before the board meeting, and then you come here and you approve it, and that's how the state handles board policies. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
President McNeil.
Is it, okay,
Yep, it's pertaining to this. I'm sorry. I just want to get the floor.
okay,
Yeah, I just wanna
okay,
get
I'm
the floor.
sorry.
I just want to make a
Got
note.
thrown off.
I
Okay.
just want to make a note to my colleagues in the community that we're the first board that's catching up on policy in years. I'm excited that we're into policy. You know, we always talk about policy with me, and it's amazing to see that we've been updating decades worth of policy that has not been touched. We're on the right path, and we still have a lot more to go, but we're catching up.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Are there any more discussions? Seeing no further discussion, the motion to approve number 5.1, the second reading of our policy and adoption at the regular board meeting on May the 15th will be conducted by a roll call vote. Board members, I call your name, please say yes or no. Secretary Perkins,
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre,
Yes.
Vice President Clack,
Yes.
Trustee King,
Yes.
Trustee Rutherford,
Yes.
Treasurer Luna,
Yes.
myself, President Mike Neal, yes, 7 yes, 0 no. At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Treasurer Luna for the finance and operation of the
Thank you,
agenda.
and good evening. I would like to call the Finance and Operations Committee of the Whole to order at 6:45 p.m. I will now call upon Superintendent Jones to present action to the board.
All right, thank you. I seek a motion and a second from the board to move Resolution 11.29, approval of storm sewer investigation between Brownell and Holmes, Part 2, to the regular board meeting on May 15th for adoption.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I make a motion to batch 11.28 through 11.32.
Didn't mean to skip 11.28, I'm sorry.
Support.
Okay, a motion to batch 11.28 through items 11.32 has been made by Trustee King and supported by President McNeil. Is there any discussion? Vice President Clack.
Okay, how y'all doing? Mr. Henderson, didn't we fix this last year?
Yes, it was the month before, and I didn't catch on it that it was possibly a two-day event,
We
and
did,
Yeah,
the
something
price.
with this mic.
Wait a minute, Ms. Henderson.
Okay, so yes, this was done the month before, and they had a provision in there that it could be a two-day operation to do that, and the price was for 1 day, so I didn't catch it at that time when we did it. So I should have put it to the board for the grand total. So it just doubled, that's all it did.
Was this the tree roots, if I remember correctly?
I'm sorry. I
Was
couldn't
this
hear.
the tree roots? Was it roots that are the issue?
No, this was to camera, so we learned exactly which way the pipes all went underground, because there was no prior documents that were showing how the sewer system worked for Brownell Homes.
Okay, did that have something to do with the mishap earlier today, or was that yesterday? The flood?
I'm sorry, I'm
The
having
pipe
trouble.
bursting at the school?
No,
That had
no.
nothing to do with that?
Okay.
Okay. But this is a part of what we had voted on a couple months back.
It was actually last month, and they've already done the site investigation. It just took 2 days to actually do the work.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, really quickly, could you guys just help the board understand when we approve these things, how big a percentage that we provide for contingencies like this?
So typically on a construction project, we'll run 10 to 15% for contingency. This, we did not run a contingency on because this was just we thought it was a one-day operation. So this, I would not use a contingency fund to coordinate.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I guess my question to you is, how can, with a quote or a bid on it, how could it go from a 1-day to a 2-day? Was it once you dug up? Help me understand that.
So they had listed that they thought it would be a 1 to 2 day operation on their original bid to us or proposal. And like I said, I just didn't see that it said 1 or 2 days. And it actually took 2 full days to do all the site investigation there.
I'm gonna repeat back to what I heard you say. It was 1 or 2 days on the bid. You didn't see the 1 or 2 days. So it turns out that they needed the 2 days.
Correct.
So you gonna pay the bill?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Were there any more questions on the batching? Okay, seeing none. As I call your name, please say yes or no to batch items 11.28 to 11.32. Trustee Williford?
Oh, this is batching?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Vice President Clack?
Yes.
President McNeil?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
And myself, Treasurer Luna, yes. The motion passes to batch 7 yes to 0 no.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the batched items.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, the motion to approve the batch items has been made by Trustee King and supported by Secretary Perkins. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
can somebody explain, I would like an understanding of 11.30, the approval of GISD operational, what is it, GenNet fee? What is that?
The GenNet is the fiber that connects all our buildings. It's the internet system.
That's connected to GISD?
Yes, ma'am. They're our firewall, too.
So GISD won't pay for it for us?
No, ma'am.
Did you ask? They got more money than we
No,
do.
ma'am, I did not ask.
Do I see Mr. Terminal Cliff out there?
That's been that way for years. That's been that way for years.
So, okay. So that's standard? That's, I haven't seen that before, that's why I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am, that's standard.
How often do we have to pay this?
Yearly.
Yearly? So we updating wires every year?
No, ma'am, it's just part of the
Maintenance?
maintenance and the firewall protection.
Okay.
Go ahead, Vice President Clark.
So just to kind of add some clarity, is this more like an internal, like the intranet system, like the firewall? He keeps saying firewall. This is
It is the fiber that connects our buildings.
like the fiber
and
optic?
then fiber optic, yes.
I was confused, but.
Yeah.
That's okay, I use short terms and fiber optic.
I understand.
I know, I don't even know where to go.
Correct.
It is just what it is.
Infrastructure.
Comcast.
Were there any more questions? All right, seeing none, the motion to approve the batch items will be called on a roll call vote.
Wait, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. It's my fault. I mean, I gotta wait for you to acknowledge.
Go ahead.
Am I reading 5? Am I reading this right? Okay, no, it's okay. I thought it was 5 million. Whew, okay, I withdraw, thank you.
All right.
Mm.
As I call your name, please say yes or no to approve the motion to approve the batch items. Trustee Williford.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Vice President Clack.
Yes.
President McNeil.
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre.
Yes.
Secretary Perkins.
Yes.
Myself, Treasurer Luna, yes. The motion passes 7-0.
Depends on the month.
Seeing no further business, I declare the Finance and Operations Committee of the Whole adjourned at 6:55 p.m. I turn the floor back over to President McNeil for the Board Committee of the Whole portion of the agenda.
Mr. Jones,
All right,
page 6.
on my way. I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve Resolution 21.18, GISD Budget Review and Approval 2024 and 2025 tonight for adoption.
I make a motion that we accept 21.18 GISD budget review and approval for 2024 through 2025.
Support.
It has been properly moved and second. Is there any discussions? Yes.
So you're saying to have it, you're saying to have it approved tonight, not
Yes.
move on to the?
Right, yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you, I just.
Yes.
Yes.
And I want the board to know that I did attend the budget hearing that, and on that particular day, normally you have went with me before, so I did represent our board on that particular day and went through the budget. And so now, this is something we do yearly. In your package on page about 196 or 197, you will see that budget.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
And it was presented very well.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can we have I guess I haven't seen this. Was this a part of the packet? And I gotta be honest, I wasn't
Yes.
available to read through the packet. Was this in the packet?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on page 196, start on about
No,
190.
prior to today. Was it in our
Yes.
book?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I won't hold up the process.
And we get these yearly. You guys, I would love to see Flint show up for these hearings, and I think a couple of board member has. We're looking for you, Trustee King, so, but, normally you show up, you can ask questions. It's a
Right.
very open, friendly environment, and we are bringing to Flint, just for the district, our district as well. So we seek approval for tonight of this budget.
It's for all districts.
Yes.
In Genesee County. They represent the districts in Genesee County, so this is a process in which they want to make sure that all of our boards can see what's happening in the county and what the ISD is doing to support our students. So if you do get a chance to attend this, you'll hear from the academics department, CTE, you'll hear from the special education department, and you'll hear from the Genesee County Superintendent and some others as well.
Okay. Is there any other discussions?
No, ma'am.
I'm good.
You fine? And I want to let our board members know, you're all welcome to come to this hearing. It's just not, just for the president that got seated, so you can hear it and discuss and see some of the good work that they are doing and get an understanding. So seeing there's no more discussion, I would like to conduct a roll call. Board members, I call your name, please say yes or no. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Vice President Clack?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Relaford?
Yes.
Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
Myself, President McNeil, 7 yes, 0 no. And this is passed and approved for tonight.
I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve item 21.19, the proposed special education services agreement with FCS and ISD tonight for adoption.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion to approve 21.19 tonight.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. Is there any discussions? Trustee McIntyre?
someone explain to me why we're contracting with GISD for special education services?
We're contracting a special education director. This has been a hard-to-fill position, and this was a part of the conversation with the shared services that we're doing with HR, business office, and this was the last one that we wanted to contract so that we can get a good candidate for this position.
So is this included in our shared services?
It's included in the ask.
In the ask, okay.
Yes, from the beginning of that conversation, special education, business office, and HR.
So why are we doing this?
Because we need a really good special education director, and we haven't been able to find one, or I'll leave it right there. We haven't been able to find one that qualifies to really do the work that we need done, that understands the basis of our work. We have over 800 students with special education services, and we believe that this service, along with not just having the director, but along with having the supports that come with that director, is very important for Flint.
It is very important. So how is it that GISD is going to be able to fill these roles and we can't? I don't understand.
For some of the same reasons we haven't been able to really get good candidates in other positions. So it's just what it's been for us at this time. And ISD has been able to get better candidates to fill positions.
Better candidates or candidates that don't? It's my understanding that we need candidates with like a cultural competency, who are attentive to our needs, and I'm concerned that if we can't fill it, how it is that GISD has some superpowers or extra special skills. Like, what do they have that Flint Community Schools do? And no disrespect to you or your team,
I can answer that.
but it just seems to me like they would just be picking different types of people that we wouldn't necessarily pick ourselves. And
I'm sorry, I wouldn't say that. I think it's more of that Flint hasn't been consistent at our tables for people to want to come to Flint. And that's been a big problem for us. We haven't been able to attract the caliber of highly effective directors that can do the job. We haven't been able to do that. We're going to get there, but right now we haven't been able to attract those folks.
so this is if we hire a special education director, it will be a GISD employee?
Currently, yes.
Currently, yes. And how long will this director position be for?
I think the contract is for a year.
And within a year, then it's the onus is on us to continue our search to have a candidate in our district?
If that's the desire if that's the desire of the board, is that we continue a search, but we're not continuing a search for business office or HR. We are happy with the folks that we have. And so we're hoping that happens with the LSS director as well. That's the hope.
Okay.
It's the hope. And I
Thank you.
do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not a criticism. I'm just trying to understand this process and trying to figure out how we can continue to move forward to make sure that we have more of our services in-house and meeting the direct needs of our students and have more autonomy as a school district.
The goal, board, is to get us there. I think that we have a lot of work to do to get us to a place where we're moving out of deficit and moving into compliance in a more strategic way. This is strategic for us to work with our ISD and get candidates that have been in this business for a very long time that is willing to come and support us in this space we're in. I do believe, just even with our CSDs, community school directors, we want them in-house.
Yes.
We don't want them outside. We
Right.
want our secretaries in-house. But the road to getting there is going to be us working with some partners to help us get there. And so that's what this plan is right now.
So can I just make a note that this is for a year, we're not gonna be pursuing a search, and I understand why, but just that, I'm speaking for myself, and I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but I would like us to have maybe some kind of a resolution or some kind of more of a formal agreement that we are moving forward with bringing these services internally back to the district as opposed to farming them out to outside contractors or GISD. And one of the few things that's making me very confident about this is the exemplary work of our current shared services partners that we have and how much they're helping the district and such, what a great job they're doing, so thank you.
Thank you.
Vice President Clay?
I'm not sure if it's, this question is to you, Mr.
can't
Jones.
hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure if these questions are for you or to the HR director, but this is a special education director position that we're seeking, correct? Was this position posted before, and we just couldn't find somebody? Do you know about how long it was posted?
It was posted. Yes, you may.
It was actually posted several times over the past year, and we held at least 3 different interviews with at least, I think, don't quote me, but 5 or 6 different candidates.
So that the public can hear, I'll just say that we posted it several different times. You had interviews, and the candidates, it did not work out.
Okay, I just wanted to say, I share a lot of the same concerns that Trustee, that McIntyre shares. I just want to make sure that these services, these things that can be in-house,
Yeah.
we get the best candidates, and they are from, our in-house.
So I want to make sure that the board understands that, of course, we want to own it all, handle it all, and we want all of our services in-house. But when you look at our debt and our deficit, we need supports, and right now we can't have that. We need to get ourselves to that place, and that's why this work in shared services is important for us right now, because we not only have our eyes on it, but we have others' eyes on it. And we appreciate the work that we have gotten from our shared services. The compliment that we received from MDE that we haven't received in over 10 years is that we're spending grant funds properly, and also that we have utilized more grant funds this year than we have in the past.
That's clear.
And so I share, I guess I would share the accolades with the fact that we are working with shared services and we have more eyes on the work. And really our ultimate goal is to make sure that we're doing the job correctly. And right now, that's what you're getting, and we need to continue to do that.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Trustee Rutherford?
You all know where I stand with these services. My concern with this position is because we have a large proportion of our students that need special needs, I would prefer a director that understands special needs and not data. Because our students, a lot of their issues are not data-driven. They're existing, surviving. And to have someone in that position that lacks empathy, for me, I just think that our HR person, someone should be on that board that understands what that interview panel. Because bringing someone that has no understanding of what day-to-day is for a lot of our students is really defeating the purpose. Because after 1 year, we're gonna be right back where we were. So the goal, I would hope, is get the right person. And didn't we just approve a recruiter? What is the purpose of having a recruiter in HR and we can't recruit. That's like throwing money out the window. So for me, I'm asking HR is for recruiting. Why do we have an HR department and we can't recruit? What do we need to have happen? We just can't continue to ask GISD to carry us. That doesn't work for me. I believe we can do some things ourselves because all of our key positions do not belong to Flint Community Schools. And that right there, that's not a very countable position. It's not. Because at any given day, any given time, they can walk away. And what do we have? Of course you have things in contract. But when people just go along to get along and not represent the policy and procedures and the laws, some things we need to have total autonomy. Is that your word you always use? We need autonomy. We really need that. And we need it sooner than later. So I'm just not in agreement with this. This just doesn't sit well with me. And I just really want to just say that publicly. I'm not for shared services. I never will be for shared services. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Trustee Luna.
A couple things. Anybody who's worked in education knows that we have to be nimble and flexible when it comes to best serving our students. So to echo my colleague's statements, I think ideally we would want it to be in-house, but these kids need leadership and they need teachers in the classroom right now. And that's the climate we live in education, where it's tough to find people to do these roles. It's not easy. Now, I will say one thing. I want to commend my colleagues. I mean, compared to a year ago, I could see why someone would want to be in that position, how this board behaved. I mean, we lost several key people, and you know what? We're here now. We have some great folks, and Mrs. Cleaves and Mrs. Montgomery, and I've been more than impressed by their work, and it shows in their commitment to our students how hard they work. So I appreciate them.
Yes.
I think this board has done a great job with working with ISD, from the summer field renovation to shared services to just with general, partnerships and advancing our students forward. We're not there yet, but I'm pleased by the partnership we have so far.
Me too.
If there's no more comment, I would like to speak. If you ever worked in special education, and I did for over a couple of years, you understand the importance of this role. No one takes this role upon themselves without a love for all children that's in special needs. It's not what organization they come from or where. It is they're qualified to do the job. Superintendent Jones sat on that panel when they made their decision, and he understands exactly what this district needs. There was a time we had an excellent LSS director. As Trustee Luna stated, we have to take ownership of some of this stuff. The behavior of our board members has just ran people away. People want to be able to come to work and feel secure that they have a job. And we ended up in shared service. When we say GISD, this is not one entity. It's Genesee Intermediate School District. If you had to come to some of these events and see the work that they do for the whole district and not even see now one of our kids in there, because we got this ideology that this is just a thing for GISD against Flint. That is not what it's at. We are depriving our children of a lot of skills and trade because we don't understand shared service. You don't understand, maybe we don't understand partnership. Maybe when people recruiting is easy, if there's somebody out there to recruit. Maybe when the world see that we have board members with some decorum about themselves that know how to talk to people and treat people, and see that we're behaving very well. We're doing a great job. But we lost a lot of good people. So right now, that is what we have to work with. One thing for sure about special education, we need all the help and expert you can get. I work with the directors all the way down, and sit in those classrooms. You got to have somebody, and it's also regulated by the state. GISD is here to help us, not to hurt us. And we need to get together and understand that role, because we've been carrying this bad luggage around about who they are and what they are. We did not put ourselves, none of us sitting at this table created this mess. It was created before we got here. And
That's
then
right.
when some of us got here, you made it worse than what it is. So I support any help that we can get to pull this district forward. I appreciate Mr. Jones sitting on that panel. I appreciate that GISD is working with us with shared service, and whether we understand it or not, it is here to stay in this country for a while. There's a shortage of people willing to work for certain districts. Until we get this budget right and get downside, I would love to see our board show a little bit more respect towards that GISD, because without them, I don't think we would have a district right now. So I support this, and I appreciate what Trustee McIntyre has said, because she was there in the beginning when we had LSS director. We had a good team of people working, but doggone, how much beating down do you think? Because board members did not know their role. Administration, hiring of employees, is the superintendent's job, not the board job. You have no right to sit up there. We have no right. If this is what the administration selected, we should support it. End of my statement, Trustee McIntyre.
And I just would like to add one other thing as well. That before I came on the board and early on during my tenure, our relationship with GISD was much different. There was a different superintendent, and I do want to give credit where credit is due. The current superintendent, Dr. Tunnicliffe, is a wonderful Flint Community Schools partner, and we appreciate what he has done and the consideration that he has taken to make Flint stronger, better performing, and more autonomous. He's actually very supportive of Flint schools, being Flint schools, and what our particular and special needs are, and what our hopes and dreams are. So I shout out to Dr. Tunnicliffe.
Yes.
Because the previous superintendent, we know we got shortchanged out of our special education funds and had a lot of issues with that, and that is not what is happening now. So I like the way that we are moving forward, and I'd like to just encourage more of that, more partnership with all entities, including the Mott Foundation.
Yes.
Under the right circumstances, right? As long as we are partners.
Thank you.
As long as we are partners and we enter into this as with respect and with dignity and with only the scholars in our district in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee, Vice President Clay.
I don't think I'm going to support this, even though it looks like it's going to pass. This is not a negative shot to anyone that's participating in this deal. I just think that we have the capabilities of doing this on our own, and I just want it to be documented that that's where I stand. So I feel that we can do this. I think that the team is trying their hardest. I just would like it to be documented that myself, I think that this is something that we can do on our own. This is not a shot to ISD or Dr. Tunnicliffe or anything like that. So I just wanted it to be on the record that I'm going to not support this, but I do have faith in the team and everything that's going on. But
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. But it's one thing that we cannot do is run special education without this director.
Yeah.
We can't wait and hold off. You can't get into funding. There was a time that we got an A rating because we met all the requirement of special ed. The state is mandating this. And we got, at one point, did we get an A rating or did a good job? But we can't, I've been on this board for going on 4 years. And I'm telling you now that we have came a long way, but this is something that we have to have. It's mandatory that we have it. So this, we hear everything you're saying, but we didn't create this. And when we said no to something, I have to remove my political views out the way. I've been saying no for 4 years and realize every time I say no because of my political view, I took an oath and said every decision I make is for the better outcome of the student, of the kids. And I'm gonna keep that oath until I walk away from this board, because 4 years ago, I was making decisions on my political views and I had a strong opinion. And then when I go see other kids walking across stages, cooking dinner, being firemen, playing the flute, playing the violin, I realized I made a mistake. So I hear what everybody is saying. It's not about me. My views are there. But because my decision have to be for the greater outcome of the student, has nothing to do, is it gonna make these students better? Is it gonna make them proud? I want our kids to look like what we saw at that dinner. It was awesome. Every district except Flint Community School, and I've been here 4 years, and I have not seen our students do anything with GISD because we got this ideology. My goal is for us to maybe go on a retreat, get to know what GISD it does. We got to sit down at the table and get it out, but this is not the place for us to share that. There's a place and time for that. I am going to support this because I'm supporting the greater outcome of the student. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Trustee Loon.
Yeah, really quickly, it's just a note. You know, I had the privilege of sitting with the meeting earlier with Mr. Jones and Ms. Fields, and I can tell you, it was my first meeting doing that, and they are advocates for our students and us being in charge and being autonomous. And I was really proud of, you know, the words they said and the questions they asked. So, I mean, I trust them on this decision,
Yes.
as well as the previous shared services decisions as well. So, just wanted to note that, give a shout out. Very proud moment.
Thank you. Are there any more discussions?
Madam Chair, if you would allow me,
Yes.
I don't
Trustee
echo the
Rutherford.
thoughts of my colleagues. Our kids could do a whole lot better. When I hear a student come up that is basically begging to get out of this district, that speaks volumes. That's not something you could just blow over. I would just ask my colleagues to make sure the work is done so that students won't be running out of our district. So when you have a student coming up personally to say, I want out, that's not the only student that wants out. When you have exit interviews and people are embarrassed hearing what the students are saying, that's challenging. For me as a board member, I take that personal, because every child that comes out of Flint Community Schools should have everything they need to succeed. And if we're not providing that for them to be able to succeed, we're failing. So GISD is GISD. GISD is not going anywhere. This has nothing to do with GISD. GISD is there. But Flint Community Schools need to stand on Flint Community Schools' own 2 feet and make things happen. Deal with the truth. Put the right people that's qualified to do the job. And accountability is not an attack. If you don't do something correct, someone should tell you that's incorrect instead of passing the buck along. You're my friend. I'm in this position and I want to look good, so I'm going to act like that doesn't matter. No. I would like for my colleagues to be colleagues of integrity, not colleagues of whoever's in front of me. That's who I'm going to talk to. Be consistent so someone can respect you. No one respects a flip-flopper, depending on who you're talking to. Now, I'll speak for myself. I'm the same, because I owe you that, which is respect and to be consistent. I'm not going to tell you you're doing a good job. As soon as you walk out, she's horrible. That's not fair to you. That won't help you grow. So when it comes to filling these positions, that is why I say something about it. Because we have to stand and face these kids when they go out there and they cannot fill out an application nor be able to follow instructions, because we allow them to be defiant and not hold them accountable. You don't hold teachers accountable. You don't hold administrators accountable. that's not how the world work that we're in. You're going to be held accountable. So teach them that now while we have them. Thank you.
Trustee King?
Yeah, Mr. Jones, with the shared service director, right? To my knowledge, we still have staff, support staff inside of LSS department, right?
Yes.
So the director is just the person, the leader, not taking over, ISD is not taking over the whole department.
No, we have two supervisors, one elementary and one is high school.
So Flint Community Schools still have employees inside, will still have employees inside LSS, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify a misnomer that was put out about GISD taking over. That's just it's an individual, it's a leader of a department, but Flint Community Schools still have job postings, jobs inside those departments. Yes, the leader may be contracted out through the ISD, but to my colleagues, I'll be honest with you, I mean, we all know Flint has a horrible stigma with, coming to Flint. Prime example, where we was at last year, the years prior, right? But I believe that, our board is getting together, day by day, month by month, meeting by meeting, but it's gonna take time to, repair what's been broken for years. And we've been repairing as much as we can, right? But there's some responsibility and self-accountability that we all need to take. And remember, the words that we say across this microphone can send waves through a district. And every position that we sit in, people before us sat in here, destroyed the district by the words that came out their mouth. Simple by the words, right? Once we get there to the point where we can get folks back in, yes. But I tell my colleagues, I've been watching job postings since really I took over HR in the beginning. I've been watching the job postings when we had, I recollect your minds, when we had a closed session with our previous LSS director. That job posting was, I think, posted like a week or so later, and it's been posted. Like it come down, that's when they're doing interviews, posted again, nothing, right? But in order for us to fix the LSS department, as we fixing systems inside this district with the ISD and our support staff together, that's how we will fix this district. We cannot do everything alone.
Yes.
This idea of closing off, let's be autonomous, I get it. That, in my opinion, education is a partnership. I want
Yes, it
ISD
is.
at the table, I want MDE at the table, I want other districts at the table, because at the end of the day, we are educating the future leaders of this country that will go out and do great things. So I'm all for partnership. I haven't seen no inkling of, abuse of a partnership. I know Superintendent Tunnicliffe from the days when I was in Carmen Ainsworth, right? I know his assistant superintendent, he was a former superintendent, like they are all committed to Flint Community Schools and
Yes,
all
we are.
scholars thrive. So I'm committed to it, but I also want my colleagues to know we have some self-accountability as we go forward. We're building reputation day by day, but it's not gonna be easy. But also, just let's be ready for it. Let's get it done. Thank you.
Is there any more comment for anyone that has not spoken on this subject matter? Secretary Perkins.
I think, I like shared services because I think that we need help right now. And I like Mr. Tunnicliffe, and I know he's concerned about the Flint schools. I really do. And, we've had some side conversations, and I know his heart is in the right place. Everybody needs some help sometimes. Right now, we need the help. We've done the postings, and it hasn't worked out. So if they can aid us, just like they did when we got the CFO, which I love, and others, I think it'd be a great thing as far as I'm concerned. We didn't say forever. We will grow in time. This board has really come a long way. We're all board certified now with merit, and we're doing great things. Let's continue. It's gonna be bumps along the way, but we can get there if we all stick together, unified.
Thank you.
That's where I'm at.
Thank you. Seeing that there's no further discussion, the motion to approve item 2119, the proposed special education service agreement with FCS and GISD will be conducted by roll call vote. Board members, I call your name, please say yes or no. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Vice President Clack?
No.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Rutherford?
No.
Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
Myself, President McNeil. Yes, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yes and 2 noes. Board members, in your package, that monthly update for April 2024 from Vertex. Do any board member have any question regarding Vertex report? Going once, going twice. Seeing there's no questions or comment, we will move down to remarks from individual board members. Do any board member have any comment before we adjourn?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
And I mean this in the most proactive way, because we talk about accountability as a board and individual members. It's evident when trustees read the board packets prior to the meeting. And I see questions almost every meeting that the information's in the packet, and I get it, stuff happens, right? Because I've been to meetings where like, you know what, let me skim it really quickly, and the questions I could have gotten in that packet, I asked. We have to be accountable. I mean, we owe it to our constituents and our students to come to these meetings prepared. It's evident when people don't do that. We all see it. Let's be more accountable, y'all.
Thank you. Are there any more comments from the board before we adjourn?
Madam Chair?
Ms. Perkins had her hand up first.
I just wanted to comment on our Advocacy Day. It was great. Laura McIntyre and I went to Lansing, and we were asking for $4.5 billion for public funding for schools. And we made what we call a pie. And we had chef hats and aprons, and on those, well, on the top of mine, I put Flint, so they'd know that the Flintstones were in the house. The other part of it was we put everything on the aprons and the hats that would indicate things that we really need in the Flint schools especially. Anything from debt elimination to financing to, help me out here. What else did we put on the aprons? Everything for the Flint schools, you know. Specialized teachers, pay increases, whatever. But we did that, and we did presentations, and we spoke to 4 state reps. Well, 1 administrative assistant and then 3 state reps. And we got some very good responses, so I was really proud and pleased. The superintendent was a little ill that day and couldn't make it, but we stood in the stead for him, and we actually got up and spoke in front of the whole audience. So it was a good day, all in all. Thank you.
Are there any more comments before we adjourn?
Did she forgive me?
Yes, Trustee Rutherford.
First of all, I know school is coming to a close, and I know we have the Safe Summer Initiative going on, and jobs are available for students. Are our students participating in the summer job program at all? Does anyone know? Mr. Jones? Do we have any students participating in the summer job?
The mayor just called me yesterday about that, so I can't have them participate that fast. I would have to get involved, get our principals involved, but that is the plan. But our students are involved with summer work already. The ISD did reach out and hired some of our students to be in summer program where they are getting paid. We did announce that to the board last month.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay, I missed that. Do our students have transportation to get to and from there?
Yes, they do.
Okay, that's good. One of the questions I wanted to ask about the building security, with so much renovation going on, did we decide, Mr. Henderson, that we're gonna have about the, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones to Mr. Henderson, are we gonna have, what type of security are we having around the buildings? I rode by and I saw security, that's why I asked.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Do we have round-the-clock security at the buildings
Mr.
during
Henderson,
renovations?
What does the security look like?
5 to 6 a.m., 5
Yeah.
p.m. to 6,
Dusk to dawn?
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
Now, with the recent activities, I received phone calls, like some board members do, about a lot of activities at our empty buildings. My concern is, phone call came about people in Northern, and all of a sudden, Northern was on fire. Then, so we're hearing, are we doing anything to with our vacant buildings in regards to securing them, so that people could stop walking in? I heard it was people up at Bryant. Everyone is looking at the buildings. And what is the best way we can do to stop people just walking inside the buildings? Because people are watching. If no one has an answer, could somebody possibly give me an answer later? Is there a committee put together to discuss what can be done?
Well, a point of information, we're doing comments, and you made a good point about the buildings and stuff, but we're not making a decision and discussion as such as this. We just making comments. Mr.
That is my
Jones,
comment.
You asking a question, then we're gonna go into deliberation.
No, it's yes or no.
I don't think right now.
You can't do that. It's my remarks, what I want to say.
Well, you're saying what you want to say, but
okay,
we're
let me
doing
finish.
comments.
It's not a point of information if you just go take the floor. Let me finish. It's comments. It's my comment. And it's important to me what goes on with these buildings as it relates to the safety of the residents, because they have a right, if they live near one of our vacant schools, to feel safe. They have that right as a citizen.
Point of information, Mr. Jones, to you, you heard the board member concerns and stuff. When times permit, could you get her that information?
Yeah, as I stated in my update to the board, I just met with the mayor. I just told the board that I'm waiting on the police chief to turn some information around to me. So that information is all in that update that I gave you all.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, ma'am, his update was given to the board, not to the public. So that's why I'm making my comments. I think the public need to know about the superintendent's report, so you can know what's going on with the buildings.
Okay,
Thank you.
Is there any more comments from the board? Trustee McIntyre.
So I would like to follow up with what Trustee Perkins said, that we did, and I wish I could remember the date. It was Advocacy Day on the 23rd, I believe, with the Michigan Educational Justice Coalition. And one of the things we were doing was advocating for, not just for Flint schools, but especially for Flint schools, but also for public schools in general. And the main theme was that we are in a $4.5 billion structural deficit that has been imposed on public schools for the last 10, 15 years. $4.5 billion. And there are things that need to be done structurally in order for public schools to be viable. It's mandated and required for us to educate all students, but we aren't given the resources and the tools necessary in order to do this. And so a lot of changes need to happen. A lot of the gutting of public resources needs to be reinstated. I think they're only talking about 11% right now of reinstatement. And one of the platforms for the entire state of Michigan was for Flint to have its deficit eliminated, because it was one of the few schools that did not have its debt eliminated like the rest of the schools. And the question was why. And so the rest of Michigan came behind Flint Public Schools to demand that as part of one of the platforms of the structural deficit. So I was really proud to be there talking to the state representatives. It's, again, this isn't just a board thing, a district thing. This is a statewide and nationwide problem that is about to become, an endemic. It's about to become a catastrophe. If public schools are shut down, then it leads to all sorts of different consequences. So, a shout out to, just more coalition building with different partners. We had different unions that were there. The AFT was there. You had different advocacy groups. We had a whole group of students from Benton Harbor who were given release from their school for the day to come and talk to their state legislators. So that may be something that we might want to think about for next year, because it was a real eye-opening experience. And the Michigan Educational Justice Coalition does training for speaking with representatives, and they are open and willing to work with teachers, students, board members, that kind of thing. So, and in the vein of partnerships, I do want to say that it would be really nice if the city of Flint could be also a partner with the Flint schools in helping us maintain the laws that should be protecting our buildings. We have boarded up our buildings, we have secured our buildings, they continue to get broken into, they continue to get set on fire. There are laws that govern those activities, and there needs to be an investigation into who has set these buildings on fire. There's been no questions asked. The Flint schools shouldn't have to FOIA that information from the city. The city should be a partner with the schools in order to help us to provide safety. If they're so concerned with safety, then maybe they can do their job and do an arson investigation and investigate when people trespass on property that they're not supposed to be on. On a more positive note, as Trustee Luna noted, we have a treasure trove of employees who are retiring with 30, 60, oh my goodness, decades, I don't want to go into the hundreds, legacies that are retiring. And I want to thank them.
Yes.
And to express my gratitude for their dedication and a lifetime of service. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like lifelong employees who are leaving, and I'm glad we were able to restore your contract. I know that was one of the things that was keeping some of you from retiring. You were hanging in there until that happened. We really appreciate you. We used to, in previous decades, have some kind of a ceremony for retiring teachers, and it absolutely broke my heart about 10 years ago when you had a few of the older teachers just come shuffling into a board meeting and not get any recognition at all. And so I would like to reach out as the board if maybe we could honor our veteran teachers, especially for the 20, 30 plus years of service. I would really like to honor them. I know that my dad, got recognition. There was a ceremony, a plaque and that kind of thing. And I think that's the least we can do for these wonderful teachers. Thank you.
Trustee McIntyre. Go ahead, didn't we?
So what I didn't get a chance to tell you ladies, that I got a phone call while you guys were down there saying that you all were down there giving truth to power and setting fire down to Lansing. I got a picture and a phone call about you all, so I didn't get a chance to share that with you all, but just to give you all that. Ms. Fields, I read an article about our graduation, up from 79, was it last year, to up to 110 this year?
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to give everybody here with a pat on their back, because I know it's a team effort that the rise in the graduation rate. So we're going up. We're moving up.
Yep.
We're trying to get the enrollment up so we can get more graduates. I just have one quick thing, and this is maybe I might can talk about this later on, but just a real quick thing. I got a phone call about one of the schools, Zimmerman Center. So I rode by on the way here. Can we look into doing some type of cleanup over there? Is that something that we can do? Sure. Okay. I'd like to see that campus kind of cleaned up. Cleaned up a little bit. And I will omit my last comment.
Okay.
So I don't feel like going.
After Tarek King, I do my closing remark.
All right. All right, to my colleagues, I wanted to report that I was able to go to the senior exits a couple weeks ago. They were amazing.
Thank
The
We all did.
scholar that was going to present tonight unfortunately couldn't make it, but I was able to witness her senior exit. When I tell you that young lady is amazing. It was amazing to see how she commanded the room, gave the presentation, her goals in life. Another young man, I think, is coming next week, hopefully. They have big dreams and goals to do, and I think it's important to showcase, not just to the board, but to the public as well, that what our scholars are trying to achieve and what they already have achieved. I think it's important to note that. Also want to recognize Latangene Stewart. She was one of the scholars that went on the HBCU trip. So she was recognized at the CTE program at GCI with the Best of the Best award. Our scholars are getting awards for that. Also, I do want to make sure I note Teacher Appreciation Week is this week. To our teachers, especially the ones that have retired, thank you for your service, 100%. Words cannot express how much gratitude that I feel to the teachers that's in the district and teachers across the world, because educators are our frontline workers. Our frontline workers deals with a lot and educating the next generation. I also want to congratulate Ms. Smith from Eisenhower. She's a student service monitor. She received the Excellence in Education Award this past week. She's doing great work over there. I want to give that recognition.
Thank you.
Kindergarten Roundup. I was not able to make the Kindergarten Roundup, but I received positive reports from community members that was able to attend. I'm glad we're hosting those type of events, so thank our team for that. Also want to bring to our attention that our HR recruiter doing a job fair May 28th and June 25th, 12 to 4, GST Michigan Works. There was a flyer. I would encourage you all to share that in the networks. That is the yield of hiring a recruiter and making sure our HR department is whole and finally fully staffed. Also want to note that this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. I think it's important that we note that. The mental health awareness is make sure that we are aware of everything that goes on with a scholar, an adult as well. The words we say, the actions that we do impacts a person. That'll be concluding my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. On my final note, I was the one, everybody has spoken. I'm going to close it out with my comment. For those that say that Flint kids are graduating and not able to go out into the world and compete, I suggest that you go and sit in those seniors' exits when they did those evaluations. The superintendent has a responsibility, and the teachers, and he put their responsibility on our teachers. And these students have to hit so many points that they have to be able to meet. When I do the evaluation, I know what those points are, and they hit them all. Those seniors are prepared to go out into the world and be successful because of our teachers. They showed good resilience. They presented very well. They knew exactly where they're going. They knew who they were, how they was going to get there. And it was, it was very well done. Parent participation, a shout out to the parents and the family.
Amen.
And a shout out to our teachers, because those 12th grade did awesome. Shout out to Trustee King and Trustee Perkins, because they was able to stay throughout the whole thing. And this is not the first time that Mr. King be at everything that these kids have, and he can vouch that our children are moving forward, not backwards. And for those that underestimated Flint Community School, get back, relax, because Flint Community School students is getting ready to rise. I support the teachers. They did a great job, and that is the end of my comments. Our next board meeting will be May the 15th at 6:30 here at this building. Seeing no further business, I declare the board committee of the whole meeting adjourned at 7:49.